Nope.
Did you get a pair of pliers possibly?
All set. New collar. Pretty new bell.
Good appetite. Good. Oh, Lord. That's not an option.
Don't mind us, a little barnyard surgery about to happen. So at some point, last night or early this morning, Luna stepped on her udder and gave a pretty big cut. And so we had to vet out, sew it up, because that's not a place where you want to have a bad infection or any kind of hole. It was about as big as your thumb. So we anesthetized her, laid her out, sewed it up, used another drug to wake her up, and now she's recuperating nicely in the handling system. So we're gonna keep checking on her for a little while. An annoyance, but these things happen. Tuesday, 3rd of March. Getting a late start. Actually, well, we've been up and going for a while. We checked on Luna first thing. She's doing great. We haven't looked at her udder, but she was left in the handling system so nobody could re-injure her teeth. I've been down and refreshed the cows bedding. I fed the calves and the heifers out front. About to feed the pigs. Everything's frozen this morning. Has been a major pain in the backside. I put the grapple on the skid steer just now. Had to thaw out the mechanism to get the manure bucket off, and then I went to hook up the hydraulics to the grapple, and they were frozen. So yeah, I need to start Marianne, the excavator. Couldn't get it started yesterday. It was just too cold, and the batteries are too drained. I've got the battery pack recharged, so we'll give that a shot today. I really need that to go, because I have to, the stuff that I'm pulling out of the barn today to clean the barn has to be dumped over there. I need to make room for it. I'm gonna clean the barn today anyway, all the way down, everything out, bedded pack completely gone, refresh the entire bedded pack. That allows me to use the emergency pen in the barn if I have to for calves or calving. Well, we do also have the handling unit here for calving and the space up in the barn. I'm worried that the 3 cows that are going to calve will not like the fact that they're calving next to the pigs. They will be really agitated by that. So not such a great situation up there right now, but we've got this damn weather that's locked in and drug on so long, with more and more snow coming and frozen ground still. I was not prepared properly. At the beginning of winter needed to happen for right now, and I just couldn't get it to go. So we're kind of making do and making the best out of bad situations. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna clean out the bedded pack. I'll do what I can to bed it, but the sawdust truck broke again. Been waiting for months for it to be repaired, and finally they said they could deliver today, so I made all these plans. The bedding has to be refreshed today. Today's a good day to do it. Allison will have some time to help me make sure the cows don't break out of the yard. It's good weather. I just got to send the cows out of the barn and get that cleaned up. But that means I'm also going to have to send them out tomorrow, because there's no shavings or sawdust being delivered today. They said they could do it tomorrow. If not, if they can't deliver the 5 cords at the 5 cord price, then I'm going to make them deliver 2 3-cord loads at the 5-cord price, not the 3-cord price, which is a lot more expensive because they're frickin' cheating us all. Why they're selling sawdust for so much is just retarded. It'd pay for the trucking, but get rid of the damn sawdust. They're charging a lot for it. Not happy. All right, I gotta get the cows water, and we gotta get milking. We're gonna have to switch over. So we got 3 cows calving in the next 2 weeks, and then 2 heifers first part of April. That's 5 new cows to the system. We're gonna have to start milking at night, which means we're really gonna have to get our act together and start milking earlier in the morning, because it's best to have a 10 to 12 hour window between milkings. We can't be milking as late as we've been milking, and then milk when we have to at night to be sane. So we're gonna have to change what we're doing here, because things are gonna get crazy real soon, real fast. I'm just out here at Marianne. I tried to start her with a battery pack and wouldn't barely crank over, so I thought the batteries were flat. So I just came down with a power cube and a battery charger, and it says they're charged, but I don't believe it. So I put it on repair mode. I'm gonna leave that there for a while I recharge the battery pack, and hopefully I can get this thing started later, because I really need to reduce the volume of the manure there in order to put everything for the barn in without having to make a billion trips up and down the lane where it's going to be icy out here. So this yard, I got to throw some salt out here because there's ice where the cows got to go this morning. So yeah, I need to make room there in that pit for everything in the barn. So if I can just ladle it over the side, and I also have the excavator to move if I fill that up too fast, because it's so much faster just to shuttle it across the ramp and put it over the side, get the barn clean. Especially it's windy today, the cows might not want to be out. Well, for some reason, the sound wasn't working on my camera a couple of times while I filmed this day. I was explaining how I got Marianne started, was able to ladle out some manure, but not a lot, and then I would have to do it multiple times while I was unloading the barn and clearing it out. I was glad that I could get Marianne started and that this would work, and I was also saying how nervous I was about the cows. All right, cows are in the field. Fingers crossed. They stay there. I have a limited amount of time now to get this bedded pack cleared out of here. I'm going to start with the grapple on the skid steer, because there's a lot of matted hay and stuff. The grapple should take good bites of it. And then if the cows cooperate, I'll swap over, get the bucket, and then I'll be able to get out from there. All right, so let's get this going. Let's hope they cooperate. So far, things are not going well. It's taking way longer than I expected to be able to do this. I have switched from the grapple on the skid steer back to the bucket because I'm in the final stages of things. But I've used the excavator 3 times to move the pile back, and I'm running out of places to put manure, actually. I just have a little bit left to scrape down the barn, and then I'm going to switch over and start filling the barn back up. Well, I do want to spread some lime. I do want to scrape a bit more, maybe with a shovel, but I've had to take Allison away from her work to watch the cows, and the heifers are running wild. They've escaped. They're in the big orchard, contained, but I don't know what we're going to do. They're wild as hell because the cows are in the field.
The Lebanese government.
The story so far. It snowed again last night. Another 4 inches, it looks like. And we were out in the midst of it because the heifers broke out again yesterday. Because I wanted to clean the barn. I got a pile of sawdust delivered. $500 on sawdust. And I knew we were beating the weather. Trying to get it done before snow happened. And so I put the cows in the field. Started cleaning the barn. And it was hard. The stuff was packed solid. It took a long time, a lot longer. But the cows were doing okay in the field. Until the heifers broke out. Heifers started racing around all over the place. Got the cows agitated. Cows started jumping over the line. I had to interrupt Allison's work. We had to have the neighbors come over. Because once I'd committed to cleaning the barn, I had to finish cleaning the barn. Because I tore into their bedded pack. So I needed to get the barn clean and the bedding refreshed. That took a long time. All the time with neighbors here, trying to keep the cows in place while I raced to do work that did not need to be raced through. I didn't get the barn as clean as I wanted. I didn't get as much sawdust put in the barn as I wanted, and so I have a big pile of sawdust in my dooryard, covered in snow this morning. Because we were still dealing with the heifers. We ended up having to get the neighbors help us lock them in the horse trailer overnight because they kept breaking out. They hadn't gotten out in weeks. And then the genius that is me decided that the Smax-Tex boluses came. Let's install some. And I didn't activate one and put it in a cow. So it's useless, and I wasted money. And now there's a piece of hardware floating around in a cow that's not doing anything. I'm going to add a second piece of hardware in the cow. So that was irritating. We'll get into more about that later. But it's going to be 46 today. I got to get my act together. We've got a plan for how to try and keep the heifers in their field. It involves tractor work. So I got to do that before it gets too slushy, because like I said, it's going to be really warm today. And I got to hurry up and get going and plow this snow off the driveway before it melts and becomes ice. I also was fighting a significant amount of ice yesterday, because it was warm yesterday, but then it got bitter cold and snowed. So, yeah. Gorgeous day. 4 inches of snow. Not helpful. Lost an hour of the day already dealing with it. So today I've got to make up for all the things I didn't get done yesterday because we were too busy chasing cattle everywhere. I have wasted that bolus. And I didn't get to take you guys on the initial unpacking and journey. I wanted to get the boluses in the 3 cows that mattered the most, the ones that are going to give birth next week and the week after. Now, the boluses are supposed to be put in to monitor birthing 20 days in advance. Well, I managed to get them in two cows about 8 days in advance, and another one 13 days in advance. Not probably going to give me the data that I want for the birth, but just after, that's the important stuff. You know, their health, their recovery, their transition period, it's called. Like I said, I forgot to activate a bolus and wasted it. I put it inside the cow. I'll show you about this later. I do want to do a segment on it because it's fascinating. It really just sucked that I was so excited to get the boluses, which have been delayed. Should have had them Monday, but they didn't come till yesterday. And I should have actually had them weeks ago. But they got lost in the FedEx. So yeah, I was overly excited. Wanted to get them in. I've been chomping at the bit to get it in those cows, and I fucked up and didn't activate one of the boluses. It's just, I was exhausted. I was just trying to get stuff done, and that's always a recipe for disaster. Luna's recovering well. We'll see what she's like today. She's one of the ones I gave a bolus to. Her udder is looking okay where the vet stitched it up. And oh, look, there she is. She's eating at the rail. I got to go down and feed the cows. Cows look like they're very content in the freshly bedded barn. I still have to, that's the other thing, I got to deal with all the sawdust today. What's left of it. I got to deal with the heifers now, so that's my morning. I've got to move some bales to put up around the fence as a barricade. And then I got to feed them and get them what they need. But okay, so, oh, I forgot to bring the sled down the hill. Too busy talking with you. I got to clean up. So I've been feeding the rejected silage to the calves. They seem to like it. And here are contently cutting cows in a freshly bedded barn. It just really sucked that I haven't been able to get sawdust until now. It's so much nicer when I can bed it with sawdust. I say I'm sick of snow. I love it, but I really am sick of it. Yeah, if I had the time to go cross-country skiing or snowshoeing, this would be beautiful. Beautiful day for it. Oh my God. Don't have time. If I could travel to be in this amount of snow and not have it this snowy, love it. We have had more snow this year than we've had in ages, 7 years maybe. I haven't seen the cumulative total, but I'm guessing it's somewhere north of 5 feet, 60 plus inches. And we've got more snow coming on Friday. Oh boy. Yeah, between the deep snowpack, last night part of the problem was we were chasing the heifers all over the place. It's the sort of snow that's firm on top until it isn't. And when it isn't, it can be 4 feet deep. So we were struggling through deep, frozen, hard drifts everywhere, trying to track these little bastards down. And we almost had them in a handling system, but we just couldn't get it coordinated. And we ended up stupidly putting them back in the field when they got out again, because that's the other thing. With this level of snow, because we rarely get this volume of snow anymore, our fences aren't built for it. And so, having livestock out, because we don't have enough barn space right now, meant that they can literally in places, they can just walk over the fence. And the heifers have realized that the fence isn't hot because of the snow is insulating it. And so they can just go where they want. Not their fault, not really our fault. It's just all this snow and the deep cold. And well, it's going to be 46 today and 50 on Sunday. Tomorrow is going to be a high of 22 with a high wind. So it's going to be bitter. And then it's warming up. But yeah, the snow that's here today is going to be an icy mess by tonight because it's going to melt rapidly. It's already about freezing. And it's only 8 o'clock. And we're running late because we haven't got milking done because we're dealing with snow. All right, heifers are back out with added collars. I've got 9 bales blocking the way that they get to the big orchard. It's really bright out. Amazing day. It's like really warm. Gave them a new bale to eat. They're out of there. Collars on, bales there. Let's fingers crossed they stay put, because I don't know how much more we can take. Summer has indeed come to Frostbite Falls. That 4 inches of snow, almost gone. Hardly any trace on the driveway where I couldn't get it all scraped up. It is easily in the 40s right now, and loving it. Far from being a sign of it going to rain, because it clearly isn't, cows laying down. I love the sight of cows laying down. They are chewing their cud, and chewing the cud makes milk. So that is a really, really good thing. And I'm afraid that the way I had the barn managed with them just having the back half where the concrete area is, so it's 18 feet deep by 30 feet wide. I kept the bedded pack there. They all fit. I mean, they could sleep fine, and I left this front area for milling about, but I think they really like the fact that they can lounge here a little more, and the fact that it's cleaned and lots and deep. I do need to add some more. because as much as I put in here yesterday, I wanted to put in twice as much, but it was getting really late and we had the neighbors over here and I was just feeling way too much pressure. The heifers were still out. So I didn't want to run the extra, eight buckets down here. But I can do that today. I can add a couple buckets here and there and keep building this up like we do. And yeah, love seeing cows lounging. Hi, Dory love. Bridget, don't eat the sawdust. I'm in here with Bridget and I'm refreshing the pig bedding with some sawdust. Got to carry it in with buckets right now because I can't get the skid steer in because Ganymede and Tethys, and also ground conditions are mounds of snow and melting slush right now. The pig yard is a soupy mess. So I've been trying to build them up a little bit of a drier area to lay down in. Update on Bridget, she's hale and hearty and growing like a weed, all leg. She's her bout of scours is long gone. I should have updated you on that sooner, but you don't pay attention to these things, do you? I don't even think anybody watches this channel, quite honestly, at least this far in the video. Who knows? I'm just on general chores. I'm cleaning up the rest of that pile of sawdust. I'll go down and refresh the cow's bedding next. Last full bucket and then probably a partial bucket left of sawdust. And then I'll shuttling it back and forth to shuttling it down to the barn kind of sucks because I spilled quite a bit of it. But it's the only option we have. We can't get the trucks down yet to where the sawdust needs to go. Ideally, we would get a load of sawdust at the beginning of winter and it would last us. So I got to get that sawdust shed finished where I put this. I also got to find a cheaper way of doing this because the trucking of the sawdust kills us. I can go down to the local mill and get it for $30 a cord. They call it a 4x4x8 volume. 30 bucks a cord. To have it delivered here from the only other place around that delivers it, it's $89 a cord. And that's if I buy 5 cords, which is just enough for this kind of mid-winter refresh. Ideally, I probably need about 10 cord total to do this size barn, and if we expand, we'll need 20 cord, which is a semi-load, but I can't get a semi down here to dump. So we really need some kind of small dump truck, some kind of dump trailers to be able to go do this ourselves, because this will break the bank. Now, this is only the second time I bought sawdust. I did it once a couple years ago because chips were scarce and I was basically confronted with the same thing. And all right, now I've got to find a way to dump this without freaking cows out or getting cows coated in sawdust and breaking the barn or the gates. Every batch of cows is slightly different. They're going to probably just lay right down in that pile and be a nuisance. Well, that's good. I got that just deployed. I'll come back and spread that out later. I probably have enough for a couple more weeks banked in the little shed area. So I should be able to keep on top of this with sawdust until turnout, I hope. It will help if I can get some wood chip delivered or chip some myself. Yeah, damn cows are going to get right in that pile and make a mess of it. That is the drawback to our system. And nowhere to put the cows when I'm cleaning the barn. And that's got to change. Of course, if I was running our own sawmill more often, I'd have sawdust aplenty. I just need to get that yard fixed, the sawmill yard, move the sawmill, and set it up so I can collect the sawdust and get it with the skid steer easier. That was never, because when the sawmill was placed there, we didn't have the skid steer, we didn't have an easy way to get behind it. There's some debris and some stuff that has to be moved out of the way, and then I can make it work. That will definitely reduce the sawdust bill. For every 1,000 board feet of lumber, you make a couple tons of sawdust. So yeah, that's and we've got some projects. We got the barns and the parlor to build, and maybe a shed or two. And so I've definitely, and that's without selling any lumber if I get back into that game again. So yeah, so sawdust is available. Oh, and look, there's Dory with a face full of sawdust. Rat. Standing on a pile. Come on, get out of the way. I don't want to freak the cows out, but I also don't want them standing right here. I'm just going to add this bit to here. Like I said, I didn't, when I dumped the sawdust in here the other day, I was not able to put in as much as I really wanted. But that's okay. We're going to take care of that today. Now I gotta find a 5-gallon bucket so I can spread that sawdust around easier. She knows she's on camera. See her face? She's all covered in sawdust. She's just rubbing her head and kicking her heels up in that pile. Jerseys really are the ultimate brats. Lana's got a plug of mucus hanging out of her ass. You're not ready to give birth. We're not ready for you to have a calf yet. All right, there we have it. Refresh bedding. Sawdust makes a very good bed for the cows, especially in a deep bedded pack like this. Because if I can not get killed by a cow being flushed out, routed. The sawdust is up to a point antimicrobial because the nature of wood. And it's absorbative, so it would collect and hold urine. It's desiccating up to a point. My bucket's blown away. And so by layering it up, in this case, in this barn, the cow's hooves mix it in with the bedding before and the manure and such. During the day, the wind and the sun dries out the top surface. And at night, it heats up, it generates its own heat. So it's composting. It really is. It is the best method. And it's what I try and achieve to do every year. Usually I have to clean it out 2 or 3 times. This year it was it was make do because I couldn't get, the weather was bad and I couldn't get the sawdust because their truck was broken. And normally during the winter, a couple of tree companies drop stuff by. That didn't happen this year. I have a feeling people aren't choosing to do some of the tree work in the winter. And the emergency tree stuff just hasn't been in our area, so it's not worth our company hauling chips from further away. The company that drops off to here. So we didn't have the wood chips. Bedding hay is okay, not ideal. And so it was kind of a make-do thing, but now we got the sawdust. So cows will be cleaner, they'll be calmer, they'll be more happy. And also, I was trying, because of the bedding shortage, I was trying to stick to the back half of the barn being bed and leave this front half, which again worked to a point. It forced all the cows to be in one space. Here, they got a little more space. They like to be spaced out, given the varying ages of our herd. There are definitely boss cows and junior cows and sub-junior cows. Lieutenant, Mabel's the lieutenant out there. She'll boss everybody. She's standing next to Lottie, who is the herd boss. And the juniors, because of their dominance, the junior cows don't really know how to behave at times. And there's always a constant change in the pecking order. Plus, this isn't ideal because we've got a mix of heifers, dry cows, and lactating cows in this barn. It really should just be the heifers that are close to calving, which are the two here, and the dry cows in this barn. And then where I'm standing in the new barn, once we ever get to build it, that's where the milking cows will be. It'll be easier to maintain. Hopefully, I gotta really think through, make it easier to clean. So there's that. I guarantee by the end of the day, one of the boss cows will be in that fresh pile of sawdust I just dumped. And with Lana, I'm just gonna have to keep an eye on Lana. She's due in 6 days. We're setting up the possibility of putting her in the handling system if an emergency. I needed to warm up so I can pressure wash the two gates that at the beginning of winter, I stupidly left the two gates that formed the corner pen installed, not realizing how the winter was going to go, that I couldn't get bedding, that I couldn't make my own bedding, and that I would do such a deep pack right there because they got in and coated, and they're a mess. So they've got to be pressure washed before I could put them in there for a calf to be born in a pen, because calves will lick the gates, and that thing is just disgusting. It's got to be a freaking disease vector because how it was buried in the wet, sodden bedding. You know, the compacted layers down below the top was fairly dry, but whatever. Those things need to be pressure washed. I would have loved to have been able to pressure wash the entire barn. And that's the other reason for not really, it's okay now. If a calf gets born accidentally in the barn right now, okay. As long as it's not a howling gale, as long as there's not pouring rain and the bedding gets wet. We've had this situation before. They'll be fine. We now have the calf shed, the container. We've got the handling system pen. I'm a lot more confident today than I was a week ago in the two calves that are going to be born possibly by the end of this week, or certainly beginning of next week. Now, I have 3 cows left to bolus, to Wi-Fi enable. The 8 cows that have a bolus are starting to send data. Now, it'll take a week and a little more than a week for full data to really start, indexing the cow's behavior, their standard temperature. That's already starting to develop, how much water they're drinking. Some of that's starting to develop. We haven't gotten to the point of monitoring their rumination because the boluses have to go inside the cow and then make their way to the reticulum where the ruminating happens. And then once it's there, they'll start measuring how well they're eating and digesting and stuff like that. I thought that I had put one of these in without activating it, because we put one in Libby and it didn't come online right away. And that was about the time the heifers got out. And so these are about $40 each. Small price to pay, because if they save your cow's life, that's thousands saved. The setup, the apparatus is a one-time fee that was expensive. The monitoring launched to the cloud sender unit. And there's a monthly fee to monitor these once it's sent to the cloud and to interpret the data and send it back, and also to be on call for about a year plus until I get a handle on how these are working with the herd. But still, small price to pay for saving a cow's life, or making sure a calf is safe and really taking care, and also monitoring things like mastitis and fevers and stuff that impact us on a daily basis due to loss of milk production, which is really why we went to do this. Health of cows is paramount here. We want them to be healthy, we want them to be happy, we want them to be productive, and we need the milk, and we need to make milk without having more cows than we need, kind of. So they have to be efficient without pushing them. So we went with these boluses. They can't get lost. They're inside the cow. They monitor 5 or so different parameters. And So I thought, so you activate them. There's a little thing here, little indicator thing there that you hit with a special magnet, and it activates it, and then you have to let it sit there, and then it starts sending. I thought on Libby I hadn't done that because all of a sudden I put it in her and it didn't work. But then yesterday, 36 hours after I put it in, it came online and started working. So I must have activated and just forgot because of the catastrophe of the heifers being out and just being fried. So that's good. Either that or it encountered the magnet in her stomach and turned on. I don't think that was the case. I must have activated it. Anyway, when it's activated, a red light shows there and blinks, and I haven't activated this one. So I have 3 cows left to do. I'm probably going to have to run them through the handling system because it's the 2 heifers who don't put their heads in the headstock, and it's Dory who's skittish as well. So I'll probably have to do that on the weekend. Anyway, so you activate the bolus, you record the QR code, and it scans it in, it put it in the program. And it will then assign it to the cow that you want it to be in, that you're putting it in, and then you put it in the bolus gun. This is a bolus gun. Put it in the bolus gun, carefully maneuver it down the cow's gaping mouth, and then shoot it out into their stomach. So yeah, that's how we're doing this and why we're doing it, and hopefully we'll see some, should be better pregnancy indication. Probably not on Lana or Lottie at this point because it's too close to the time when they're gonna calve, and so all the correct data won't have been built up to be analyzing their behavior. But also, it may hopefully Libby, but also, and definitely the heifers when they have their boluses because they're not due to calve for a month. And then hopefully, going forward, better heat indications. So we know when to breed them, the ideal time based on their body temperatures and all the different activities and things. That's proven. I think they've been 15 years using these. And so it's proven to work. It's proven to work quite well. So yeah, like I said, I just got 3 cows left to do. I may try to catch Dory tonight if she's in the headstock. I almost had Astrid this morning, but they rarely stick their head through the headlock because the boss cows tend to pound on them. So let's see, I gotta put this gate back up and hopefully they just chill out. Oh right, I've got to find something to cover these 2 sawdust piles outside with. So I gotta look into that. Then I can go have lunch.